We are live, I think, with Faz Radio Green Room.
I'm here.
We have Mr. Forged in Crypto here. We have other people that I'm trying to unmute them, but they're unmuting my unmuting.
Unmute
Okay.
the unmute.
So we have Mr. Titan and we have Mr. Betty Orby. Betty Orby.
How we doing?
We just call him Betty.
Betty. Well, I've never explained. I don't think I've ever explained to them, I guess, what the ORBE comes
we keep
from.
asking you, and
You've told me before, and I can't even remember. You had
must not be notable.
found a girl, name was Betty. Really liked the name.
It's your lucky name, huh?
Yeah, in essence, sure. Let's go with. I like.
Somebody
names
post
like
this
Vision.
link somewhere. This Faz Radio.
I think our producer posted it while we were still bullshitting.
Let's see, in the premium channel. Oh, yes, it is. Look at this. It says it's almost green room time. Come join us. That was like 2:54. That was like 30 minutes ago.
Early.
Yeah, they all got bored and left. So I want to start today's green room with a big thumbs up. I watched your cast yesterday, and I still am irritated that it's not on YouTube because the pain in the ass you got to do to get it on Twitter to be able to do other things while you're seeing it's a pain in the ass. But the content was fantastic. I was thoroughly engaged for all hour and 6 minutes. That was really good with what you guys did yesterday.
Thanks, man.
You're riveted for 6 minutes in the hour you weren't paying attention.
So it's not. It's not on YouTube.
Yeah, that's.
No, I went to the YouTube. Well, I went to the Forged in Crypto YouTube, and it wasn't there. The last one there is your fucking charts. But I wanted to get it there, but I couldn't. And then you pop out the Twitter window, and then it disappears when you scroll, so you've got to embed it. And I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, get it up to YouTube.
I'll figure it out.
That's worth it. And then we should pump the hell out of it because that was a really, really good show.
So it's showing for me on YouTube.
I looked for it last night when I watched it.
Do you have a link for
Wasn't
this
there.
show, sir? You can put it in the comments.
Do you have more than one YouTube though? Am I at the wrong YouTube?
I only got one.
No, I think the problem is since it's a live video, it doesn't go under the videos tab. It goes under the lives tab. So unless you're looking at the home page or under the lives window, you can't see it. And I don't know if I can just move it over.
You realize we've been managing Faz Radio for 2 years on YouTube. I know where I'm looking, Ben.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not there anywhere.
Look, I just gave you a link in the private chat.
I'm gonna look right now again.
Just make him an admin on your channel, and he'll shut up.
That's so weird.
I'm gonna look again.
Well, if for some reason it's not coming through, then I need to pick your brain to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
That's a good idea. Talk with the professional, the YouTube professional.
Videos.
Oh, okay.
There's
I'm
that,
gonna post
and live. Oh, it's there now.
I just posted it.
Yeah, it wasn't there last night when I looked though. Maybe it takes a while to spool up or something. I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
It was like
maybe.
it was
Well,
like
and what I can
9:30,
do is
10
just-
o'clock last night.
I can just download it anyways. I should just download it and re-upload it as a video no matter what.
It'd probably be faster.
Yeah. That's what I'm
And
doing.
So,
you can go through and you can break
Betty-
it up like Titan does with all the little, nice little like.
It's so easy, the chapters. Yeah, I do it while we go. Here, you guys were talking games. I bumped into this one last night. That one's a good one. I wanna research more on that one. I only poked around. I didn't I didn't do much. But if someone wants to pull it up, or I can screen share or something.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah.
That looked really, really good. And their team, I'm not sure on that team that I looked at, but the videos they have of the play look really good.
Ooh, sound! I heard that.
Dang. That was really loud.
I've never gotten sound to work when I share video.
See, yeah, yesterday was the first time it had worked for me.
Yeah, because we were sharing a couple of things yesterday. I'll tell you, there's a lot of people putting out some pretty badass trailers. That's for sure.
Yeah, there is. Shrapnel was
So-
this one we discovered.
Yeah,
That's pretty
so
cool.
Shrapnel, I saw that. I researched that a little bit after I was watching Zorro posted a link to that Game Award thing. So I watched that the other night. And that was interesting. What in the hell? They weren't even talking about like what the criteria were for any of those awards. It's like, Gala wins Best Studio. It's like, well, what the hell for?
Well, so this is the. Oh wait, I can share that screen
That's
actually. Let me show
Well,
you.
And that's what we talked about though too. It's like there's some games like Champions Ascension should have been in a few of the categories and they weren't even close.
right.
Or they
And
weren't even on there.
The game of the year, I'm looking and I'm like, really?
Big time.
Yeah, I mean,
Big Time was Game of the Year.
Well, it has the followers. It has the community. I mean, their Discord has 500,000 people in it.
Yeah.
400.
So your Game
this-
of the Year if you have followers then.
I mean, that's who's voting, right?
Well, so these were the voters, right?
Oh,
oh wow,
No.
look at that.
Is
So
Jake
there's
in
a bunch-
there?
there are a bunch of influencers.
It's all the content creators. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Bryce
go.
sent one.
Yeah,
who-
I saw that.
So who's paying them then? That's the question.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
how much sponsorship are they getting for this?
Gotcha. Okay.
Boy,
Yeah,
maybe
'cause
today will come when we can
Classy
vote.
and Stash were there representing Gala.
Yeah.
I'll say, did you guys see the Twitter thread Vader Research was talking about today?
No,
it was,
I worked and I came home and I'm sitting here.
it was a pretty. Let me. Vader. It was pretty cool. Just
99-year-old Charlie Munger. Oh, I want to mention that. So this guy, of course, he's gotten rich with Warren Buffett over the last 100 years, apparently, and he's all against crypto because he doesn't understand it, and he's the better, the more crypto takes off, the louder he gets. It's like
100%.
It's like that he's been making money for like the last 60, 70 years off the traditional banking system. You know where he's invested.
100%. Well, he was. I mean, classically, they were out of Apple or any really big tech stocks for years and years and years and years. Like they were. Now, granted, it works well for them. They wait until things are a solid buy and they make a lot of money on it. They're never early to anything.
Well, nowadays, I bet they were early in the beginning, but nowadays they have so much money
maybe.
that. Sorry, I had to mute you, Titan, because you were typing right next to your microphone.
I was telling your producer she was panicking because no one was paying attention. She needed to know what we're talking about today.
Listen to me. I am.
Well, she
speaking.
posted it like 5 times,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
see that
like,
now.
oh.
what's the name of the cast? What's the name of the cast?
You have to click to share sound. I didn't know that. It's a setting.
But this kind of Twitter thread, I mean, this is one of the things I was talking about, on ours yesterday was I mean, this tradable content has existed before through Steam, with games like CS:GO and Rocket League, and so this is a really good thread. We're not going to dive into it now, but I mean, there's some really good answers and just discussion, just about why navigate away from something that already works, and what are the true benefits.
I'm really surprised that people are really not dialing into the fact that if wherever they got their skin from, if that goes down or south or they ban you, you've lost it.
Yep.
And
Right.
it's like
That's this one right here. I
they
mean,
really
that server's
want-
been shut down.
Yeah, and so they really want other people to control their stuff. That's where you've got to hit them, is below the belt. And maybe it's best to show people where they've actually lost out in shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it baffles me thinking about where people are missing out on the gaming side of it, right? Like For me, it just seems very simple, a simple move for NFTs and gaming. But for some reason, the gaming community is just, dead set against it. Whether it's they're just parroting the information they're getting from the studios.
That and they're really sick of microtransactions. Okay. Back in the day, you can buy an Atari cartridge for $20-$30 and you get a game and you'd play it. And I'll say, and we'll move forward a few years and say back in the day, you could buy a video game for $60 and then you get the game and you'd have some patches, but that was the game. But then a number of years ago, and Betty might be able to tell us when, because I don't, at a certain point, they started giving you part of a game and then giving you the rest as DLC that you had to pay for. And there's a good reason for that. It's because they need to pay their programmers. And you can't, it's not a it's not a viable business model if you have to front load all the money for a game, and then it take off. Hopefully it takes off. You have to front load all the money, expect it to take off, and then take that money. Then you got to make a second game before the first one might have even taken off. So
oh my God,
the economics is really hard unless you do microtransactions. So I think they're burned by microtransactions, and they're like, well, NFTs are worse because now we have to pay even more money because these things cost thousands of dollars versus hundreds. That's why they're pissed, in my opinion.
You just described how Gala's doing it, and you said that was the wrong way to do it.
So I'm telling you how gaming has worked. Okay, Gala is doing it right in the fact that they're making money with it. When I put my money into Gala,
front loading the funding for the game is not the right way to do it. That's exactly what Gala's doing.
Yes and no, actually. When I say front loading, I mean you have to have all the money in advance. You pay for the game in advance.
That's what they do.
No, they're actually selling NFTs to fund this game. They're not front loading the game.
It's
Nate,
potato.
Back me up, Nate.
Oh, well, I think I was going to say the same thing that Titan said. It was a potato. I mean, essentially, they're just taking money up front to, create the game.
But that's not what game studios do. Game studios, if the game costs $2 million to develop from start to finish, the game studio has to come up with that money, then publish, then develop the game.
Guess where they get that money from?
Well, Gala Games is not doing that. They are getting money from other people during the development. That's different. Tell me a game that you can pay for during its development. Could you do that with Cyberpunk?
No,
Could you do that with Red Dead Redemption? I mean, what?
Well, the thing is, you just don't know it's in development. That's the thing. Right now, I was saying this on the cast yesterday. What we're seeing now, maybe I didn't say on the cast. I talk a lot. Anyways, what we're seeing now with the with the gaming side, the Web3 gaming side, we get to see behind the curtain. We get to go and be a part of, hey, this game's being created, and everybody's excited, but they don't realize, like, holy shit, this stuff takes a long time, and this takes a lot of money, and it's probably not going to work, most likely, because most things fail. And what we're seeing is we're getting, pushed into this side.
You're being pushed into VC mode. They're making VCs out of everybody, and that's the only difference.
VCs. I know what you're saying. It's just a different view for people, and they think they don't understand what they're seeing. They don't understand that they're seeing that this is the creation. This is how games are made. And it's a hard thing to wrap your mind around. It's going to take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of that money that you put in, which you're never given any type of ownership side with. You're just there waiting for this magic game to happen, and that's how they're funding it. So
with microtransactions, you could say that they're kind of funding it that way too now, but they weren't in the past. That's what I was getting at. Is in the past you simply just had to come up with the money, and they got them from VCs beforehand.
They got it through VCs.
They probably even got it through VCs during the development too. And so crypto makes us all VCs.
Yep.
So first of all, microtransactions refer to small payments like 40 cents or $2, not the prices that a lot of these places are charging for NFTs.
Microtransactions are all relative, right? It just depends on how much.
It doesn't matter. Loot boxes aren't 20 cents. I'm sorry. And those are considered microtransactions.
So this is a great question, and I wanted to get to this last week when we were talking.
By the way, we're not on Faz Radio right now. We're in the green room, just so you know.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask this: like last night on your cast, right? You had that that really wide board where you were showing like all the games that different platforms had.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked about the fact that, a lot of these games are going to fail. They're going to throw money at it. Do you think that these game studios or publishers or whatever you want to call them, do you think that they're being a little bit too liberal with just throwing any game out there? Don't you think they should, if they know a lot of them are going to fail, are they trying to go for just volume for bragging rights? Or, shouldn't they be just developing a smaller number of games but make them kick ass? What do you think?
I don't know. I think part of it is if you throw enough, sticks into the wind, one of them's going to catch flight a little bit. So I think especially these ones that are bringing on games that they're not like developing in-house. That's what we're seeing with Treasure as a prime example, right? They're not developing these games. They have the other games in. Oh,
Betty, you're slipping.
Oh yeah, it's because that thing was trying to download.
Yeah,
my mom's using the internet again. Mom, turn it off, will you? Should be fine now.
Mom's on Pornhub again.
Between that and the cat's fucking, man, jeez.
That was one of the best clips ever.
Thanks to Jesus for that. That's you
that
got to
was so
start
funny.
dropping more Jesus bombs like that. That's what you should call it. Here's another Jesus for you.
No, but I think you're right, Titan. Like essentially, they're throwing as much out there to see, and Benefactor said as much, right? He said as much. Not one of these games is going to catch fire. That's going to be the fuel that's going to raise. That's the rising tide that raises all ships. That's what they're all hoping for, right? And internally, within Web3 in general, they're all waiting for the Apex or the Valorant or the World of Warcraft to come into Web3 to then lift all Web3 games to some other level, right?
And it's
not just Gala, right? I'm not just talking about them. I was looking at, and it's like they've got all the different genres covered, and there's like all these games. You would think if they're looking for that quality and that community, they would be rallying towards 2-3 games, maybe the big ones that people play.
Take Champions Ascension. They're making one game. They just got 34. Was it 34 or 32?
35
million. 35 million funding specifically for Champions Ascension. They're making one game and they're going to make it badass. They're doing a lot of really good things at Champions Ascension, right?
Granted, it's complex. Like there's games within the game, but it's one game.
But it's one game. Like they're making that game, that ecosystem. That's what they're focusing on. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you fully. The nice thing about when you think about Treasure is they're just a platform for these other games to come in that have already been built or are being built. They're a platform that they can come in and have a community to rally around them. So, run by a DAO, essentially. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Titan seems to be down in the dumps. Let's get him up, man. He's a little
I'm not down in the dumps. I'm trying to think of how to ask what I want to ask because it kind of dovetails into that.
In his point
yes,
there.
I am always this good looking.
No, so how do I want to phrase it? All right, I'll throw it out there and then we can break it down if you don't get it. So a big part of this is throwing these games out, which are the Web3, which all involve, in some way, shape, or form, earning something. Is there too much focus on building a game around the earning instead of a game and having earning?
100%. No disagreement with there at all.
And how do they fix that though? Because we know they need money, right? Even as much as I bust on these companies and I bust Gala's chops a lot about it, hey, they're all about the money, but the community's not allowed to be about the money, and it works the one way. So how do you break a company out of that cycle then? Because we say, I've suggested, hey, why don't you fund the game and then make up the difference on the back end? And everybody goes, no, you can't do that. That's too much money. So how do you break that cycle then? Because otherwise all you're getting is Roy Boys in there.
Well, why don't you allow the players, the people that are buying the NFTs to have ownership in the game?
Because
Why
it's
not?
like herding cats.
Why not? Well, okay, in the sense that the community, they know what people know what they want or think they know what they want, right? So give them the ability to, I'm going to give you 10 grand out of the $10 million that you need. Well, it gives me a share of your game at that 10 grand, right? Why not?
Isn't that a
Then
security?
I was going to say that
100%.
goes into
Well, why
security
not?
care. Yeah.
So who cares?
And there's
Why are we so
there's
scared of
nothing wrong
securities?
with it being a security.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Why are we so scared of securities?
Because it
Um,
means that somebody else can take. So what the SEC does is if they determine that you're not doing business the way they want you to, if you're a security, they're simply just going to say stop doing it. And a lot of times they don't give a rhyme or reason. So and of course the way they do it is they fucking shoot you in the chest, with a lawsuit, and it's on the newspaper and stuff like that. So even if you do register it as a security, it doesn't save you from the SEC.
Well, I think it actually gives you a lot more of a cushion than if you're doing the same thing but you're not. I mean, if you know you're a security, register yourself as a security.
Well, that's the thing with crypto is if we all admit now that crypto is a security, great. But that seems to be something that nobody wants to cross that line.
Well, I think
Yeah.
some things are securities and some things are not, right? You
Yeah.
can argue all day long, but we keep making it so this being a security is such a bad thing, and if we're going to operate into, in the U.S. where the SEC is, the all-seeing eye or the eye of Sauron, as a lot of people like to say, like, then okay, then just go about the rules and just operate that company that's there, unless you're trying to do something else that is not a security.
So
like,
I
it's fishing
I agree
around.
with HB. I agree with HB here. That's what I said about herding cats. If you start giving everybody a stake in the game, your job becomes a moderator or a convention leader at that point, which
So-
is a totally different job than entrepreneur.
100%. And I think when we look at like DAOs in general, people are putting them in different ways, right? Like, or are structuring them in different ways. If you structure a DAO to where it's not every individual is getting that vote, that individual is able to influence the other people that are in charge, not just one person, right? They're able to say, if you have enough people that can agree on certain things, and especially in an environment like that, you have to listen to it, right? Eric would have to listen. I think Vera often brought it up into your Discord about Gala going private, right? Something around
Well,
those lines.
he'd have to listen to venture capitalists, yes.
100%. Or no, not even venture capitalists. If you have a board of directors, right? So what if the board of directors was appointed by the people of the DAO, right? The people that are investors of the DAO or of that company, whether it's a security or not. What about that? I mean, something along those lines. Like, they still get a say. Like, you can't have your one person and your one idea out of thousands. It may not be good. It may be great, but you're going to have the majority of those people listen to you and then come to the front, just like in a democracy. Like,
right.
If we've seen that work, I don't know. But
I think, frankly,
Nope.
Eric's job should literally be to find the deals, get them going, and then hand them off to a DAO. I think Gala Games itself could be a DAO, and he just keeps looking. He's a serial entrepreneur. Great. He finds another one. He hands it. He makes the money. He hands it off, and it's a mill for him. That's the fact that he's getting involved at all with the community. To me, is slowing his ass down.
Yeah, his strength is his ADHD, and he's got to do it in a different way. Running a company that way is like suicide. So they got to use that strength in a different way. And I think if he just backs out, walks away, and goes and does that stuff, uses influence, uses connections, Gala will be 1,000,000 times better off.
I can't disagree with that either. I think him being a part of that community and that Discord really kind of pushes where he's not good, right? Like, he's good at just building the company. Just get all that garbage out of your head. It's much like a lot of people that have a ton of people on, social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Most of those people turn off all of their comments because you can't listen to it. It's all noise, and you got to turn that off and focus on what you need to do.
I mean, if you have any direction you want to go, there's going to be hundreds of people who like you for that and hundreds of people who fucking hate you for that. So, yeah, who cares?
It's I've said it 100 million times. It's about the player experience, and that's why everybody loves EVIO, and they won an award for that. It's the experience, and nobody else seems to be getting it except for EVIO. You have to give the players
EVIO
a place
is not,
that they...
It's not a blockbuster hit right now. It's just a game.
It doesn't matter. They're extraordinarily popular.
Are they?
For a reason, yes.
Are they? How popular
Very.
are they? How do we find out how popular they are?
They showed up and won an award at the game thing, just like Gala did.
What's the game
thing? They're tiny, but they've got that much clout already.
And I think they have 200 or 300,000 DAU now. Again, I can't check that. It's not on the blockchain, but I think the last I heard was they had like 200 to 300,000 daily active users. So, I mean, that's pretty damn decent when you look at the game. It's not the greatest game in the world, but the onboarding, like we've talked about before, is the best.
So what did they do right? Because there are other games that are that Web3 enabled.
I can show you.
Well,
I'll show you from the start. I'm going to just start on a blank window and show you why it works.
Well, first off, as he shows you that, they started with a game that was not crypto. It had nothing to do with Web3 or anything like that at all. They had a game, just like Titan said. The game was playable. People played it already. And guess what they did? They made it really simple to integrate Web3, to integrate cryptocurrency into it. And that's it.
Work
they did
backwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Gala Games is doing to a lot of their games? Oh, turn that shit down, man.
Oh,
10 seconds. 10 seconds from window open, you're playing the game.
So you said, isn't that what Gala Games is doing? I think they're trying to.
I turned it
now
down. I just muted it.
With gems and the new games is, creating. I mean, that's what they're doing with the mobile games, right? They're already games, and then they're going to integrate Web3 and cryptocurrency within them. I think that's a great move. It's something I've been shouting at the top of my lungs.
Again, I thought that's what they did with Townstar. I thought they bought Townstar and then they integrated it into the blockchain.
They created Townstar to be a blockchain game from the get-go.
And that's why they're having to redo it, because apparently they've learned that that's a bad idea?
No, they're redoing it because it was browser side. They wanted to put it server side because people were cheating. And they said, well, since we have to do this anyway, let's move to Godot.
Godot.
Whatever.
Got it. Yeah. So I think that's the I think it's a great move. Hell, it was last summer early summer when we found EVIO, and then I think it was in that fall time frame. I was in the Platinum channel talking and saying, hey, this is how you need to implement it. This is what you need to do to get players. Make it easy. Right? And it's only taken them a year to do it, but they're trying.
Well, the first time all of us started talking, we had that discussion about how you have to take the crypto part out of it and make it optional. Mm-hmm. And that's what EVIO does. You don't have to do anything crypto. You can buy whatever you want, whenever you want. And if you want the crypto side of it, you can get it. And that's where it circles all the way back to that first question that I had of why is it that these other companies are building games around crypto instead of building games and then integrating crypto? I think you're going to see the games that are built to be games first are going to triumph.
I agree.
And not to necessarily sympathize with Gala, but I do think, we're seeing them start to pursue that avenue with games like Superior, like the fact that it's listed on Steam, the fact that Grit's going to be listed on Epic. It does allow gamers immersed in the Web 2 space to pursue those games in the avenues that they're already comfortable with. Granted, they still are blockchain games, but at least they're starting to make those strides and getting them on regular gaming platforms.
Well, I agree and I disagree. I don't think it's a smart move to be pushing people to Steam And I think Gala needs to be hosting that at their own space. And like I said, that dashboard across the top, you can turn on crypto, turn off crypto. It just ticks away. And if you never touch it, you never touch it. But what's going to happen is they're going to go and put these games on the EA platform. They're going to put them on the Steam platform, and people are going to go there and pay attention to their Steam accounts and their EA accounts. When those come out with blockchain gaming and crypto gaming, they're going to already be so ingrained over there, it's going to be a hassle to go back another direction.
Yeah. Nope.
No, that's a really valid point.
That's why people, look, that's how banking is successful. They make you sticky. They make it to be such a pain in the ass to change banks that even if they suck, you're stuck there.
Apple did the same thing with the iPhone. Apple does the same thing with the iPhone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. The more difficult it is for you to change, you're not gonna. So.
And that's why I think it's crap that Gala's taken that approach. You need people to be sticky to your platform. They need to upgrade their platform so to make it where people want to be there. It's easy, it's simple, it's quick, and done.
Okay, yeah. I'd like to leave it at that because we've been going for about 30 minutes now. We need to get Faz Radio on the move.
All right,
so there is a link in the private chat for Mr. Titan. If he doesn't see it.
Yeah, I got it this time. You guys didn't switch it on me this time.
All right, so we're going to be wrapping up the green room here. We have some comments here. We got some juicy alpha, yes. Okay. Let's see. Where is the image? This is the image. Where's the music?